Hello everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish, and like we have done previously, we are once again doing a Goosebump review, and it's not the full cast, it's the same cast we had last time, that being me, Jackson, and of course the number 2 Goosebumps fan of this podcast, Nico.
I'm not really a big jelly fella, I'm more of an ooze fella.
And then of course we have the slime himself, Tanner.
Sports camp? I thought you said forts camp, where we build lots of forts.
Well, you know, we're not always all there mentally, but of course, as we have alluded to, we read the 33rd Goosebumps book, I think it's the 33rd, that being The Horror at Camp Jellyjam.
Yeah, we just jumped straight ahead.
Yeah, this was, of course, to my request, which is why I'm hosting this episode. This is the Goosebumps book that probably stuck to me the most, I would say, and it's one I wanted to read the most since being a wee child. So, you know, I'm glad we got around to it so soon. I don't know what the second one is. Maybe it's a banger. I don't know. Hard to say. I guess the quick plot synopsis behind Camp Jellyjam is we've got a family going on a cute little family vacation. The kids are in a trailer and they get detached and wound up in Camp Jellyjam, in which they have to compete in sports for coins, and if you get 6 coins, you get sent to be a fucking slave to camp, or to Jellyjam himself. And, you know, our main character discovers this plot and frees the kids and kills the jelly guy, and it all works out.
Yeah, all in all, pretty solid book, I gotta say. Was a pretty good fan of it. That's not really true. I wasn't that big of a fan of this one. Honestly, you know, I had some problems with the first Goosebumps book we read, and this one really just seemed to exacerbate those issues even further. The biggest crime that this book commits is there is just a constant, instant cut off of any possible tension that any of these scenarios that crop up could possibly have, where it'll be shit like, oh no, there are bats swooping down, this is so scary, and that's how the chapter ends. Then immediately when the next chapter starts, it's, oh, they're fruit bats, never mind, we're okay. And that's
shit
every
genuinely happen like every fucking chapter. Every chapter.
Dude, it did that in the first book too, though. I think that's just the style here.
That's what I'm saying. I was hoping it was just some fucking growing pains, but no, that's just what he does.
What's funny too is like sometimes they'll do that and then it just amounts to nothing too. Like the moment that stands out to me is when it like cuts to the second another chapter after the Wendy thinks she got caught when she's in the darkness watching the counselors be hypnotized or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh wait, no, I actually wasn't caught. And then she just immediately gets grabbed out anyways. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like, what's the point of the fake out if you're just gonna throw it away anyways? And they do that a few times. Like, it's just fucking stupid.
It's so dumb.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a consistent problem with this series just because it's for like 3rd graders.
But you don't have to do that. There are ways you can write around it. Like, for example, there's a section where they're like sneaking around at night and they hear a counselor say, hey, what are you doing, or some shit like that, and then the chapter ends because like, oh no, are they getting caught? And then it's a fake out, as it always is, where they were talking to some other counselor, some bullshit. But instead, you could then have it be something like, oh, they need to like talk their way out of this situation or something along those lines. So it's like, they themselves are getting themselves out of this situation somehow, and it's not just never mind, it was never a problem to begin with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely following a formula, as you could imagine, because he's written so many of these books. He definitely has like a template for the plot, and he's just like, I gotta fit all this shit in here. It ends very similarly too, where they kind of like slowly piece together what's going on, and then there's like right at the very end, it wraps up very quickly. Like, genuinely, this felt so fucking similar to the first book. It's just they swapped out what the scary part is with something different, and presumably that's what every single Goosebumps book is, which kind of is the real big scare of Goosebumps. That all the books do the exact same fucking thing. One other funny thing is, like, man, this guy likes talking about the fucking kids, man. He's like, there's this beautiful black woman with short shorts and a purple shirt. Like, why you gotta fucking, I don't need to know this, man.
Yeah, he kept saying that they had short shorts on and shit.
He kept saying that, dude.
More like R.L. Stein, but spelled the Jewish way. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, dude. Haha.
Anyway, I will say, I agree that, like, the way it cuts tension is really bad. There were 2 instances where I thought, oh, this is, like, a pretty decent way of building some suspense for the story. And those 2 were when the girl asks Buddy, where is he from? And he's, like, fucking really confused and whatever. I thought that was a solid moment in the book. And then also when he hits him with the bat and he just doesn't fucking react. I thought those were really well-written scenes for building up the mystery.
Honestly, those parts kind of reminded me of Tommy Taffy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that story at all, but it was like a pretty big creepypasta back in the day. I think it's actually getting a movie this year that's coming out. I'm gonna be picking Tommy Taffy later this year, boys. Be on the lookout for it. Except he's a pedophile. That's his big thing.
Oh.
Interesting. Love him for that. I guess talking about the actual plot of this outside of just the general structure of the story itself, I do think this is an interesting concept. I absolutely understand why childhood me would be scared of this. Like, once again, people do just straight up die in this children's book. They say that fucking kids get eaten alive by the big horror thing. That's pretty rough. I could imagine myself being pretty scared about that as a child. I think the general setup of it is interesting too. Like with the whole coin collecting thing, it all makes sense in the end. You definitely know that something fucked up is going on, but like they're kids, so they just don't put the pieces together. I think it's interesting. I think it's better done than the first one for me, generally speaking. And I do like the visual horror they portray with the actual slime guy itself, with all of the... It's like, when they're just talking about it, you know, you can just visualize in your head very clear, this is some fucking gross, nasty, smelly motherfucker.
Yeah, my boy King Jellyjam, I fucking love that guy. I like that they do describe, he has a crown on, so he is like actually some sort of king. Like if he was just a big blob monster, that would, you know, be like, oh yeah, it's a big scary guy. But the addition of a crown just does make him very funny.
Yeah, I think it is just excellent monster design, and the reveal of him is really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like most Goosebumps books, I assume will have this issue. It ends very abruptly. The character kind of just like solves how to do it very confidently and out of characterly, and just fucking gets it done very, very quickly. I don't know how else to say it. It just wraps up so fucking quick in the end, like most of these do.
Yeah.
Which felt a little stupid. And then of course it ends with another fucking fake out, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. I did like that final confrontation. I liked that our main character was like actually intelligent. They do the rare thing that horror stories never do, where like she grabs her brother and then takes him to the thing to actually show him it, so that we don't have to spend fucking 15 minutes just being like, what? That's crazy. No way.
A blob monster? Get real, sis.
Yeah, she fucking tackles him, like, "No, you're coming with me, dipshit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I did actually kind of like the ending for it, where it does try and fake you out, where it's like, oh no, he got the last coin and now the horrible smell is returning. King Jellyjam is back! But then, no, their mom is like, hey, oh, dinner's ready, I made Brussels sprouts. Like, ew, Brussels sprouts, that's why it smells so bad. That's crazy, we're children.
Ha!
Ha ha ha. I don't think we have much to say about this Goosebumps books, guys, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think there is much to say about Goosebumps books in general.
Yeah, probably right about that.
Yeah, Goosebumps are kind of like, they're pretty simple little reads, obscenely short, which is why we keep doing them. But, you know, they're fine, I guess. I can see why children would really like these, at the very least.
Now, as a kid, you know, as a previous kid myself that was very scared of this, I understand it. Like I said with the last review too, if you just don't have the media knowledge or the media literacy built up at that point in your life, which you're a child, you definitely don't, this would absolutely work on you. We are just far too in the know about this shit. Like, a kid would be reading this and wouldn't realize this is the same exact fucking structure as the first book. they are just looking at the surface level details of it's a fucking creepy monster story that they get to put the piece together. And like with the first book too, this does do a good job of like slowly giving you clues about what's happening without explicitly saying it, which I can appreciate. But yeah, this is a totally serviceable children's horror book. I think it does a great job at doing that. We are just not the target audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, I like this one quite a bit more than Dead House.
I think I like it more, but nah, it's not by a crazy margin. I think that's also carried by nostalgia too.
For me, it's pretty tough because I do like the idea behind it a lot more and everything that's kind of going on, but my biggest problem is that it does just bring a mirror up to its issues a lot more for me, and I can't overlook them as much as I can with Dead House.
I do just like the ending of Welcome to Dead House more as well. I think this one felt more rushed to me, and the other one felt more of like a thriller, which I appreciated. It felt more engaging.
Yeah, especially with just how the ending sort of structured itself, where you see that, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like we actually managed to do it. Hang on, are we still dead right now then? Or like, did we just manage to get out? I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah, I fuck with the actual ending of that a lot, how it's open-ended. This one is much more cut and dry.
Alrighty, fellows, are we ready to get onto the grading then?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I believe we previously gave the first Goosebumps book just the book rating.
Yeah, it's a book.
I'm thinking I'll be going one lower and say this is an inaccuracy.
Interesting. I think it really all just kind of evens out for me. Like I like the idea behind this one more, but I think some of the execution's a little worse, generally speaking. And I have nostalgia, but it just kind of bounces out to the exact same rating I gave the other one of just book. Like, this is fine. It's nothing groundbreaking, but like it's totally fine for like a quick little read.
Yeah, the way it's just, the structure of it did not bother me nearly as much as it bothered you guys. And I really, really like the monster design and whatever in here, so I actually gave this one an excellent.
Wow.
Interesting.
What did you give Goodbye Airy again, by the way?
Dude,
don't ask that question.
I believe that this is either on par or better than Goodbye Airy for you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Where the fuck does that average out to? I think it averages out to a good, probably. I think 10 or, if we're rounding up, it averages to a good.
Maybe.
Let's round down, though, and say it's a book.
Just the exact. Yeah, we're not keeping track of this. One of these days, if I add it to the website, we'll have actual calculations for this, and this number will be more set in stone. But for right now, let's just call it book.
Yeah.
I do feel like, from what we've talked about, it seems like it's comparable in quality to the first one, for better or worse.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that we just randomly happened to get two of the Goosebumps books that have girl protagonists.
Oh yeah.
Is that not normal?
It's I asked ChatGPT and it told me that there are 35 books where it's the male protagonist, 19 where it's female, and then the rest are like kind of split between a boy and a girl.
Okay.
Interesting. One random thing is like, why when they're on the car ride to their campsite or whatever, why the fuck are they have the random inclusion of, yeah, the mom's white, but like us two, we're darker skin. Like, why the fuck do we need to know that information, man? Like, it's so weird. I thought they're gonna like, it's like a Chekhov's gun where they're gonna maybe link that into the fucking buddy camp guy being like white and blue-eyed, the mom. Like maybe their parents are in on it in some twisted way, but no.
I think R.L. Stine is just really into phrenology.
He just likes to really just dig into what's going on at any moment for some reason. Which I don't know. Maybe that's super normal with books. I just don't read books enough to know that. Maybe I'm just fucking making a mountain out of a molehill.
I can see that being a very like normal kid thing to say, though.
Like, who cares?
Children do. I remember back when I was a wee little lad. So my sisters are black, and at some point we were just like driving around as I was a wee little tyke, and they just kept calling me black. They're like, you're black just like we are. And I was like, no! I was crying. I was in fucking tears at such an accusation. I was telling them, no, I'm white like mom is.
But, like, do you think a kid would be reading this book and be like, I identify with Wendy and Elliot now because
they
of
absolutely
this?
would.
Okay.
They'd be like, wow, this is just like my family. Maybe that's it. Maybe it was to, like, better resonate with, like, the few people where it's like, yeah, I can relate to this sort of thing. That's my family.
You caught me lacking. You caught the white boy lacking on his ignorance. What can I say?
Yeah.
My hands are up. I'm saying my bad.
You're from an all-white family, and it shows, Jackson.
My dad's a Jew.
And it shows on you as well.
My dad's not actually Jewish. I lied.
Well, folks, I hope you're looking forward to our next review. We're going to be reading Volume 1 of Bone. That's going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to it. Have you guys read Bone, by the way?
I think I have, but I don't remember anything about it. And if you put a gun to my head and asked me to describe the plot of Bone, I'd ask you to give me it so I could pull the trigger.
Yeah. Bone is fun. It's a nice little fantasy epic, except the main characters are just like these little bone guys.
Huh.
Jackson did not watch the fucking YouTube video I sent in this chat, and it shows. You piece of shit.
Dude, I'm going to be honest, man. I just don't watch shit in general.
There he is. That's Bone.
Definitely recognize that character.
They're pretty solid books. I'm a big fan.
Is that character even, like, trademarkable? Because, like, his whole deal is he is incredibly nondescript.
Probably. He does have a defined enough style to him where I'd say he could be trademarkable.
I wonder if that's even a thing. Like, is there such thing as creating a character or a logo that is so generic the copyright office would be like, huh? No, you can't lock that down.
I mean, yeah, presume like a stick figure or something. You can't try and trademark that at all.
Rest in peace to the adventures of, Mr. Fancy Pants? Was that his name?
Yeah, Fancy Pants Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
What, the Flash game? I thought you were talking about, like, Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Love that guy. We should read one of those books
That's
next.
what I'm talking about.
That could be pretty fun. Maybe we should just like review a bunch of Family Circus comic strips.
We're just gonna keep reading children's books.
Yeah. Tune in next time for when we review Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus.
What? Tune in next time when we review Johnny the Walrus by Matt Walsh.
And speaking of walruses, I can't wait to have a walrus of a time over on Guapish at the Movies.
Guapish at the Movies?
Jackson, fella, what did we watch this week?
This week's Patreon pick, as requested by Lovskin, thank you for the request, was the 2009 film The Human Centipede. And of course, if you also want to get
damn it, I
your...
forgot we watched this shit.
Hell yeah! And if you also want to make Nico exclaim that he doesn't like that we watched this shit this week, go to guapish.com/Patreon or patreon.com/Guapish. Give us $1 every single month. You get a movie in our queue and we'll watch it eventually, just like our lovely Patreon Lovskin. Thank you again. The plot of this will be tossed over to Nico because you just seem so excited about this one.
Okay, so The Human Centipede is a story of two girls who go on a little road trip in Europe, and they end up getting a flat tire and walking through the spooky woods, where they knock on the door of a crazy Nazi doctor, who then proceeds to sew them to another man and form a human centipede, and kind of like tries training them as a dog, and then two of them die, and then the scientist dies. The end.
What a fun little time.
Fun fact, all of the paintings in the house were made by the director.
That is a fun enough fact. I'll give that one to you.
Okay.
I like that fact. I think
Just
it's
barely
nice.
skating by with that one.
Yeah. It's fun. And
I was close to unfun.
Alright, so I did not like this movie much whatsoever. This is floating around somewhere in the D tiers for me. I know it's not an F, but it's somewhere in the D tiers. I'll have to get back to you on where exactly it'll be going, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm currently at a D.
I am currently at a C-.
And currently Dylan has not given us his rank for this film. We don't know where he's putting it.
I guess I'll just kick us off. This is a horror movie, as you can imagine, and I think its biggest strong suit is just getting that visceral reaction out of me. It's been a while since I've watched a horror movie that I was like, yeah, I don't want to look at this shit, to be honest. And most of it wasn't that bad. I think really the only like hard part to watch for me was just when the Batgirl's face looked like it was gonna fucking detach. That shit grossed me out a lot. And there was some decent scenes, like the guy camping out the girl in the pool with his gun. I think is interesting. I think the setup of it getting to that point is kind of dumb. But and I like the confrontation with the cops. I think that was well done. I like how it was just some no bullshit. They just catch him and he just fucking fumbles. Big fan. And the doctor himself, maybe, I don't know if he seems like he's trying a little too hard in his role, but he certainly gives off a decent enough performance for me. The girls are fucking terrible. I think the Japanese guy's funny. Generally speaking, you know, this is a horror movie, and the biggest downsides is that it's just really fucking stupid and makes no sense.
That is by far the biggest problem with this film, is that everything is so dumb. Oh my god, just every character acts like they were lobotomized before they got to the set. I don't know what they're thinking whatsoever at any given time. It's like,
the only person I'm going to disagree with you on there are the cops seem, well, I won't even say that. But the Japanese guy seems basically competent given the situation he's in.
And then, you know, he kills himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's because he's Japanese.
Do you think that's why they made him Japanese? People would just understand more why he killed himself?
I think they're really fighting for people that want to be a part of this movie, to be honest. I think it was just some random guy they found.
Perhaps.
Like, I'd assumed, like, they had to have picked, like, they wanted someone who didn't speak the same language as the other characters. That feels like something that just makes sense a lot for the film. But making him Japanese had to be intentional, too.
Yeah. This is sort of the you know, a big notorious, like, oh, it's so crazy and gross and whatever movie, and seeing as we've now seen and reviewed so many films, this is definitely one of those cases where I'm like, oh, you guys only think it's crazy because you haven't actually seen that much, and that's why it's kind of just in the middle of the ranks for me. I didn't actually find it all that interesting. I didn't think it was that gross, to be honest. Like, I mean, in the abstract, it's gross, but they really don't show much at all. And just compared to other stuff we've seen, this movie was really whatever for me.
Yeah.
For positives, I'll say I think the cinematography is actually pretty solid here. And I actually do really like the Doctor's performance. I think he does a really good job being a crazy evil guy.
Additional fun fact here for you, the Doctor's, like, grandfather or some shit like that was an actual Nazi.
Hell yeah.
Well, you know, these things happen.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be true of every German person alive today?
No.
Right?
No, some of them could have, like, moved. They could be, like, second generation Germans or something.
So what about the ones that are getting shipped in on boats?
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, really it is, for me, the biggest sin this film commits is just how stupid the characters are. They are just doing everything they can to get the plot moving and pad out the runtime to this film, just at all moments throughout it. Like, there are really just too many to count, really. Like, when the fucking... we see it like, oh, they have trouble, like, getting up the stairs. How the fuck has the scientist been getting them up the stairs this whole time, then? Because, like, we've seen them also down in the fucking operating room, and then they're in the fucking cage, then they're outside, then they're down the operating room again. How does he keep doing that with them? And then, like, when he comes down after getting interviewed by the cops, and he's like, huh, where'd they go? And then the human centipede manages to sneak up on him and stab him. Like, what? Fuck you, movie.
Or just the whole sequence where our main girl escapes and then she goes back to try and collect her friend is so funny. Like, she's faffing about for so long and the Doctor's just nowhere to be found until somehow, after like an hour presumably, she drags her sedated right up a flight of stairs and outside through broken glass, and then he just tranquilizes her in the yard. Insane. Absolutely insane sequence. I was busting a gut watching that.
That scene was so funny too, because it's like she's dragging her friend over to the stairs and she looks up, she's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And it just hard cuts to her at the top of the stairs.
And she's not even like out of breath or anything. She's totally fine. She just keeps fucking chugging along like nothing happened. So funny.
Truly a bad film overall though. You know what? I'm not gonna recommend this one. It's not one that I can recommend.
That makes sense. I don't think I'd recommend this one either. It's just, it's just not a very well-made movie. We didn't even talk about it, but like this is a pretty novel concept, I would say.
Sure.
I do like how they don't even attempt to... just the idea, like, fucking just some guys stitching people together is just crazy. Like, how the fuck do you even come up with that idea in the first place? And I do like that they don't go out of their way to try and make it feel like this is some realistic thing that can be done. I like how the girl at the back's just fucking dying. Big fan. Also, they could have leaned into it a bit more. Like, the second the first guy takes his shit, the girl just immediately suffocates and dies on her own vomit because she's not able to eat it or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I like how they don't fuck around with that. I definitely expected more in, like, the body horror segment. Like, they had bandages covering most of it, which was a little surprising to me. But,
I believe the second one goes a lot more
egregious
into that realm, where it just nosedives hard into just, we're making this the most grotesque shit imaginable.
I had a friend of mine in another server say that he felt Human Centipede 2 was on par with a Serbian film.
Okay. Sounds about right from what I've heard.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't go very hard in the paint. I think part of that might just be like budget limitations, like they couldn't make that stuff seem very realistic. I was going to say, Jackson, fun fact, the whole idea for this came from a conversation the director had where they were coming up with hypothetical punishments for pedophiles.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. Holy fuck,
Holy shit. What is he talking about? Breaking news, Dylan has sent us his rank and he's at a B- on this one.
He seemed to not enjoy the film, so I don't know where the fuck he's coming from with that.
Yeah, I cannot fathom how he came to that conclusion, because when he was talking about it, he said he had like a very visceral reaction to this movie. So like what compelled him to give it a B-? We need him on the spot right now. We need somebody to call him, get him on the phone.
I think this is just one of those instances where he's assuming he's retarded, and so like he's just like, oh well, I hated this movie, but like there were cameras involved, so it must be good.
He's just assuming that we enjoyed it more than he did, so he doesn't want us to like question it. I guess, okay, so like one other thing about this film, maybe this is where Dylan's coming from. People believe that this film is like, satire and like really delving into what like fucking... It's kind of like deconstructing how Nazi scientists were during the fucking Holocaust, and it's like... Maybe.
No, it's not.
That's possible. I doubt it, honestly. But even if that's the case, it's not very good. So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they executed poorly at best.
Yeah. I still just am not sure where exactly I'm putting this one. It's not good. I'll give it a D-. Fuck this film.
Kind of based, honestly. Kind of based. Tanner, you're sticking at your C-?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my C-. Like, overall, I just thought this film was kind of just whatever. I don't think it's particularly bad, and it's especially not particularly good.
Perfect. And as we previously said, Dylan gave us a B-, and that means it landed at a C- overall. How exciting. Theos' food went off right when I started saying that shit. God fucking damn it, motherfucker. The next movie we watched this week was thankfully a breath of fresh air compared to The Human Centipede, that being Dylan's pick, the 2002 film Catch Me If You Can. Tanner, please run us down on this one.
Dude, Catch Me If You Can is the story of a wayward youth that begins impersonating an airline pilot so that he can cash fake checks, and then there is an FBI agent who is after him, and they do a little cat and mouse game, And then he gets caught, but then they recruit him to help them out with their check fraud division. The end. Also, it's like kind of based on a true story. Fun fact, on that reality show they open with To Tell the Truth, that was based on a real episode with the real guy. And no one correctly guessed which one was the real Frank Abagnale Jr.
Good fun fact. I like that one too.
Yeah, he's just that good at being fake or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, speaking of, it really does seem like a lot of the like factual correctness of this guy's true crimes are very embellished by the man himself, which I guess leads in to his whole shtick.
Yeah,
anyways,
that's totally fair.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm at an A- currently.
Wow.
Dude, me too.
Wow. I'm at an A. Don't give an S- though.
Whoa.
Bro liked this movie.
Yeah.
Dylan's just a big Steven Spielberg stan.
He was generally very positive on the films this week, it's looking like.
Yeah.
Well, are we sticking with our ranks?
Yeah, I think this is a fun movie. It has really good performances out of both of our leads, and I think it's paced really well. I think it has a nice flow to it and everything. My only major complaint is I wish the sort of redemption arc for Frank were a bit more fleshed out.
How so? Like, what do you suggest from them?
I don't know, just like give us more scenes of him like having a change of heart and appreciating being on the right side of the law, that kind of thing.
Fair enough. Personally, that wasn't really much of a detractor for me. I do agree with most of what you said, though. I think both of our leads do a great job in their role. I do also agree this is a very well-paced movie, and I really felt like I was bored throughout it. It really just keeps you on your toes. It's really fun just watching Frank do his thing, keep getting away with shit, and coming up with new creative ways of doing it. And I think the climactic moment where he does get caught by the agent in the end is really well done. Big fan of that. And then I do also like the emotional climax of the film too, where he realizes his father dies and he kind of just been doing it all for nothing, and that makes him second guess things. And then he goes and sees his mom happy, and then decides to give it up. Then I think it's just a really solid film. Honestly, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, exactly. There are pretty solid performances across the board. I particularly liked Christopher Walken in this role as well, where he's like, you can see him the early stages of a con man, where our main boy Leonardo DiCaprio gets his wit and his charm from, but it doesn't work out so well for old daddy, and then just fucking Christopher Walken gets put through the fucking ringer in this film, unfortunately.
True.
It's like he's just getting divorced, the IRS is fucking him in the ass too. It's like, and it doesn't really seem like he gets a happy ending either. He just dies unceremoniously.
Yeah, he dies off screen.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Very unfortunate for him, but yeah, really great performances across the board. I don't have much to say about this film, unfortunately. It was just a good movie. There wasn't much to nitpick about or anything either.
Yeah. I think that's a common thing with Steven Spielberg, where he just does all of the things that make movies good well, and so it's this movie is good for the reasons movies should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very well-made movie. I think one of the only things, this is a very minor annoyance from me. It's probably nothing you guys would even have noticed too, but it's just that whimsical ass music when he's getting away with shit just kind of takes me out of the moment a little bit. That's just probably a me thing though. For example, when he initially deceives the agent, I can't remember his name, in that hotel, and then he's running away, and then the agent looks out the window and sees him escaping, and it's got that fucking music playing in the background. I just can't, I know it's supposed to be some goofy silly moment or something, but the music just doesn't fit with me in those types of moments, and it happens all the time throughout the movie. And I wasn't a crazy big fan of that, but that's a very minor annoyance that I'm sure is exclusive to me.
I want the film score to be threatening and dire in those situations, so I understand that Leonardo DiCaprio is the bad guy.
It's not even to that. I mean, this is a fucking Disney movie at the end of the day. It really just I think if anything, it just took me out of it because it made me feel like I was watching a fucking like Disney Channel TV show episode or something. Like that was the tier of music I was listening to in those moments. Like otherwise, it didn't feel like that type of movie, but like it felt like the production like lowers itself a step playing that. But it's such a minor thing that I don't even really care. I got used to it pretty quickly, anyways.
Oh, that Leo getting up to his hijinks yet again. What will he be up to next?
That's your little guy. True.
Well, fellas, is that all we have to say about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah, it's just... I feel bad because, like, this is a solid movie, and I feel like we could talk about it more, but I genuinely just can't think of anything to really say about it. Just a well-made movie, it's fun.
I'll tell you, if it wasn't so fucking hot and my brain was leaking out of my ears, I'm sure I could come up with a bit more, but goddamn this heat, it's giving me the vapors.
Yeah, I'm sticking at my A-.
I'll chill at my A.
Me too.
We're all very consistent. Dylan is, of course, chilling at his S- because he can't change it.
Yeah.
And that lands it at a solid A overall, too. There we go.
Yippee.
Nice.
Now on to a film that we'll have a lot to say about, though.
Yeah, the last movie we watched this week was my pick, that being the 2023 film The Boy and the Heron. And there's a lot that goes on in this movie, but the general synopsis based around the event of the plot is our main guy's mom dies and he goes to live with a new mother, the sister of his deceased mother that his dad is, I guess, pursuing now. And he then goes and reconnects with that mother after she gets taken into like the spirit realm or some shit, some alternate dimension. Comes to terms with his mother's passing, starts to accept his new mother as well, and goes back. The fucking other world dies, and all's hunky-dory.
Fun fact, Miyazaki became the oldest person to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Film for this one, dethroning himself when he won the same award for Spirited Away.
That's pretty good. I'll say that's also another fun fact as well. How the fuck is that possible, by the way? What? No one... Oh, it's because... That's right. It's because animated films, people just don't like those very much, and so they just pick whatever the
newest... Well, it was
newest...
specifically for the best animated film.
I was gonna say
award.
it's just gonna be more fucking Pixar or Disney shit, which they probably have younger directors on, I'd assume.
Yeah, probably. It is because like he set the record at, I think it was like 63 years old with Spirited Away, and then he breaks his own record at like 82 with this one.
He could break it again. Presumably he's got one more film in him.
He probably could, yeah.
Unfortunately, his film did end up beating fucking... I think it was Spider-Verse was the one that this beat at the awards, which...
The first Spider-Verse?
It was either the first or second one. Okay, the second one. I'd give it to the second one.
I would too, probably.
Well, let's see those ranks, boys. What are you guys sitting at right now?
B!
Dude, I'm also at a B.
Interesting. I'm at an A-, and I certainly have my problems with this film, but I think the artistic expression of it really pulls some heavy fucking weight. Like, it's really hard for me to give a Ghibli film, like a modern Ghibli film of this quality, anything lower than like an A. Like, it has to do some real fuck-ups with the plot to screw that up for me. This movie has some absolutely fantastic... Not fully for me. Like, the plot ends up being pretty mixed for me, generally speaking, and the artistic direction, everything around that, even outside of just me not fully getting what the plot is trying to say or the metaphors and messaging, it's still just a fantastic movie to watch from that perspective. Like, you can just be entranced by this without even needing context around a lot of stuff. Even though, like, generally speaking, I feel like the plot is simple enough and makes sense, but there's a lot of deeper meaning behind it for those connections, which is where my qualms come in. That being, a lot of people, this is me strawmanning, of course, a lot of people will say that this movie is just about the main guy coming to terms with his mother's death and then reconnecting, like I said in the plot synopsis, with his newfound mother. But I just don't feel like that stuff feels earned at all. Like, he doesn't interact a crazy amount with his mom when she's a child in this world, and honestly he's pretty fucking stoic throughout most of this movie and doesn't give off a crazy amount of emotion, so it's hard to even really know what he's thinking most of the time. And like, I guess the big climactic moment is when his mom chooses, like, she says that like beautiful line of that she's she's fine to die because that meant that she was able to give birth to him or whatever. And he leaves her to, have her go die again in her time. And I don't know. I just didn't feel anything at that point. I just don't feel like they built it up enough for me.
Yeah, it didn't feel earned whatsoever.
Yeah. Things not feeling earned is really just like the synopsis of what I'm trying to say. And that also goes into the other aspect of him going into this like alternate world where we've got the mom that was taken there for who knows why. I mean, you can argue. I assume what they're attempting to go for is it was, in fact, the old guy taking her there to bait our main character to go into the world and then take over for him because he doesn't need that successor so the world doesn't die or whatever. And I don't know. I understand why he goes in there to help her. He's just a nice guy. Like, he understands that it's his mom and he wants to, like, do right by her. But, like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like at the very end, like when or not even at the very end, it's like the middle of the movie when he finds her laying down and all the fucking paper starts attacking him and he like just like has a switch flip in his head. It just feels really sudden, and I don't know. It just felt like the movie didn't work hard enough to make me feel like that should have worked in the end, I guess.
So what you're saying, Jackson, is you're just a fucking Miyazaki shill. You're jacking him off. This guy made fucking Dark Souls. I can't give it lower than an A-. What the fuck? I'm with you, though. Yeah, this film is very visually stunning, just gorgeous, top to bottom. Can't get enough of that sweet, sweet Ghibli style there. Music was also very nice, too. But, like, come the fuck on with the plot for this film. I watched this shit twice. Watched it in Japanese originally, and then I watched it in English the second time. I definitely understood what was going on better the second time around, especially since I was just able to, like, pick apart like the little like things that they'd say early on that would lead into shit later, which definitely did help. But still, like, the fucking ending for this shit is just,
I mean, you also had an entire watch on your belt too going into the second one.
It's just like, this is something I've said before, but I'm gonna reiterate here now. The hallmark for a good piece of media like this is that it should be good just on a baseline, and that you shouldn't have to do homework after the film to understand the plot. That sort of deeper analysis should be supplemental to the piece of media, not serve, and overall just serve to enrich the experience and not be the entire enjoyment you get from it. And unfortunately, despite the good parts of this film, yeah, the fucking ending and what exactly the film is trying to get at just is not well elaborated upon really at all, which fucking tanks most of the enjoyment I can get out of the ending for it. Because it's like, what was this all for? Who the fuck knows?
I feel like this movie, for me, and a big reason why I'm not so low with you guys as I am, and this is also probably because I rated Spirited Away quite highly, and you were much more of like, what's the point of this fucking movie? And you didn't like it for that reason. I think this movie feels much more like a journey and not a destination kind of film for me. I was mostly just like enjoying watching the film. Like I wasn't like bored necessarily, or I wasn't like taken out of it by my lack of context potentially. I was just having a fun time watching it for the most part, and the ending felt like it ended at a fine time. I didn't feel like there was pacing issues or anything. The plot certainly had questions it was making me think about, and I don't think that's necessarily bad. I don't know if I agree with your sentiment on what makes a good film, generally speaking. I think that movies
That's because you're a fucking Ghibli shill, you piece of shit. Fuck you. You like Evangelion.
I don't think it's... Yeah, you do too, fuck ass. But like the big thing is like I think it's totally fine for movies to want to make you think about them.
I'm not saying that's bad at all. That's good.
ponder.
I enjoy that. I've said before I like that in a film. The problem is when that's like the whole thing, where afterwards it's like, well, I just don't get whatsoever what was happening there.
I don't think it is though. I think this movie absolutely has things that you can grasp onto at a surface level. He's going in there to get his mom back. He reconnects with his mother, accepts that fact,
yeah,
and then
what was
ends.
the shit with his granduncle going on?
After we finish this movie, I feel like you don't need to like think too hard about that shit either. It's the fucking there's just some dude that has some alternate world he made or some shit. It landed on their planet, and he's fucking dying. He wants to have a replacement for him. There's some bloodline bullshit going on. He wants him because he's part of the bloodline or something that can do this. The guy doesn't want to keep the world going because he thinks he has malice, and he's like, I can't keep your perfect world without malice going because I have malice, so it's not gonna fucking work. And the guy realizes this, and he's like, okay, it's fine. You know, it's not going to fucking work. We can just let the world die. It's not worth it. Really, the world just seems like a vehicle to have this, like, mystical adventure rather than it being a big thing. It also is, like, largely, I'm assuming, an allegory for Ghibli itself. There's a lot of, like, reference and structure with this movie to other Ghibli films, and I'm not even, like, a crazy big Ghibli watcher. But just watching this one, there's so many things that felt like I was watching like Mononoke or Spirited Away. There's a lot of heavy influences to other Miyazaki films. And then there's also the whole thing of like, for a long time, Miyazaki's been trying to find a successor for Ghibli. And it felt very similar, you know, fucking they sold Ghibli out to some random company, I'm pretty sure. And I think the idea behind the ending of the world thing is he's trying to pass on Ghibli and he can't find somebody, so it all just collapses. I assume that's what the point of that was. But that doesn't really fucking matter. I think the
that does matter, though. That's
fine.
the fucking structure of the film and what's going on.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
No, a film doesn't need to be good at all. What the fuck are you talking about?
You can put words in my mouth all you want, buddy. Yeah, go.
It's
Tanner.
all about the metaphysical. That's what really matters here. What all this represents, what's going on in the film itself, that can be shit for all I care. What matters is me watching video essays afterward and them telling me what it needs to be about.
We sat down in my bed and I gave you my service level analysis of what was going on, and that was fucking on the money.
Yeah, you were way more down on it than this.
I still had a fun time. You're still just putting lots of words in my mouth.
Listen, man, I'm giving it a B. That's still a good film. I also enjoyed it, but like, come on, it has big problems.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. Anyways, Tanner, go.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree largely with Nico on the plot thing, and I think the big reason for that for me is it does the same thing as Spirited Away, where the plot is mostly just meant to show you all of these really cool, creative creatures and whatnot, and these interesting landscapes. But then it's hurt even further by the fact this is a multiverse story. And that multiverses as a storytelling device inherently just will involve kind of messy plots. And so combining those two things together just makes it so that the plot is really just whatever. Like the beat to beat story is like, it's just to get you to these locations and look at this interesting creative visuals really. And I don't think the story matters all that much. I will say Jackson's explanation of like the whole metaphor with like Ghibli itself, I found compelling a little bit, so we'll see. But yeah, the big positives for this movie are the art as usual, and I thought the voice acting was really solid in this one.
I assume you watched the dub?
Yeah.
The dub is solid for this one.
It does have a fucking star-studded cast, so I would assume so. I watched a little bit of it with Nico after we finished watching it subbed, and the boy seems like he's got so much more emotion in his voice than he does in Japanese, which I think is interesting. And Robert Pattinson doesn't even fucking sound like the same guy. He's like a totally different person as the Heron, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mahito, though, Jackson did kind of touch on this as well, but yeah, he's just such a fucking boring character. He just doesn't give us a whole lot, and he doesn't really feel like he has that much agency in what's going on either. It's usually like other characters kind of guiding him around.
Yeah. He's got a cool haircut though, eh?
He does.
True. I mean, I think he's just kind of like an emotionally stunted kid. He lost his mom pretty early, and that fucked him up. And he certainly shows emotion at times of heavy influence, you know, when he's terrorized by his nightmares, or at that climactic moment where he's like fucking trying to get to like his new mom or something. Like, he shows his emotions when it counts, but yeah, for the most part he's very stoic. It honestly reminded me a lot of the main character of Princess Mononoke, where he's just like the fucking Omega Chad guy, and everyone just swoons over him for that reason. Like, it felt like he was trying to emulate that sort of thing, but not as well.
Why'd they take the aunt anyway? Why was she there?
Because she's fine.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know.
Dude, why was the mom there?
Well, the mom was there because she had gotten when she was a kid, she had gone into the tower, and they say that like she was in there for like a year, and then she came back. Like nothing had ever changed, like she was the same age. So presumably she's in there like during that span of time, because like time is nebulous in there or some shit. It works differently. Which that helped me during my second watch through. That's when I picked up on that part.
Why she's got fire powers, though, is unrelated.
She
Who
died
knows
in a
about
fire,
that?
so they gave her fire powers.
Yeah, exactly. It retroactively gives you the powers
Yeah.
of the thing that killed you when you go in the tower.
I'm shocked there wasn't much of a reaction from our main character when he figured out that the fire Hime, whatever they called her, was in fact his mom. I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. You didn't really care, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, it was just like, huh, she's her sister? That means... Anyway, where do we go now?
Let's go to the fucking tower with the bird people. Those birds are horrifying, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, I did not like those birds.
I'm a big fan of them. The parakeets were pretty fun. Just again, I liked a lot of the imagery in this film, the ideas that they had for it. Especially the parakeets were very fun because it's like they're pretty cute, but also they managed to make them incredibly intimidating.
Yeah, like they just walk around with big butcher's knives and shit. Like they're so casual about just wanting to cook and
Yeah,
eat
like when
these
he initially
children.
goes into that house and they're just like fucking towering over him, and it feels very claustrophobic with them just standing right there. It's great.
Yeah. I feel like I was watching a horror movie in that scene.
Yeah. You know what? This film was pretty good.
You came around to it. He remembered the parakeets. He forgot about them.
I thought you guys were referring to the pelicans, which I actually found creepier just because of their dead eyes.
The pelicans were also creepy.
The pelicans were creepy too. I did fuck with the talk he had with that dying pelican too. I think that was interesting world building. I like those little character moments.
Yeah, or that just kind of cements more that, like, yeah, this world's structure and how it was created is kind of fucked up, where, like, we have nothing we can eat, so we just have to feast on these, like, fucking souls or whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens when you make a world without malice, or at least attempt to. Like, yeah, you need a bit of that for things to work, you know? There's no life without suffering. Or some shit.
Well, fellas, do we have anything else to say about The Boy and the Heron?
No.
Yeah, I think I'm chilling.
Fantastic.
Could have used more Heron.
Yeah, you know, the name for this movie is another thing. The Japanese name is, like, How Do You Live? Something along those lines. And then the English version, Boy and the Heron. People really are not big fans of the Boy and the Heron name. It's like, How Do You Live is so much better. But... like, I do agree with them, first of all, but also...
it's much more marketable.
Yeah, the Boy and the Heron is much more marketable. Like, when you hear that name, you know exactly what it is. How Do You Live feels a little generic. Like, it's a nice name, but at the same time, like, it doesn't really get to it quite as much.
I'm gonna be honest, too, I
Yeah.
feel like general audiences are too stupid to even put together what the movie's about. Like, they see that type of name and they expect a much different movie than what this was. Or they'd, like, watch the movie and be like, what the fuck is the title even about? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Tanner was talking a lot about how this isn't like a war movie, and he was confused by me saying this was a war movie from the description of it, where it mentioned that it like takes place post World War II, and it was so funny watching like the first 15 minutes of the movie when it's literally just like they're fucking village being firebombed and like tanks going through the town and shit. And I was like, what is Tanner smoking? And then we get into the other world, and then I understood your claim. It was very funny though, the dichotomy.
That's fair enough. Jackson's little explanation of how this reflects like Miyazaki himself did convince me to raise it 1 to a B+.
Huge. I'm sticking at my A-, and Dylan is still at an A+ overall. He was much higher on this one than we were, pushing S-tier territory. We'll never know his thoughts though. Maybe he'll comment them down below or something.
He was much higher on all of them than us.
Yeah.
That's just what he is. Bro likes movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. And this movie landed at a solid A- overall. I think. Wait, let me check that. If Tanner, you raising your rank actually pushed it over the edge. It didn't matter. It was going to be an A- overall anyway.
There we go.
Whoa.
Just let the record show Tanner's on the right side of history. That's all that mattered.
What? Oh, is it just because people fucking love this thing?
Yeah, people fucking love this movie.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this is a pretty mixed movie, generally speaking, with audiences. Like, there's a lot of people that are very much on our side of, like, the plot's kind of stupid, but, like, it's visually impressive. And then there's other people that are like, this is the best Ghibli movie ever made. This is, like, a modern masterpiece. I cannot find flaw with it. And we're much more on the former rather than the latter on that side.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I was seeing where it's like, the plot doesn't matter, but it's not supposed to, guys. The plot doesn't need to make sense. Fuck you.
Checkmate, atheist. Yeah, my thoughts on this one are pretty much completely unchanged from when I saw it in theaters, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You saw it 2 years ago, so you've given it some time to marinate too, or just maybe even just forget. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a fun movie though. I really just wish they had fleshed out the interactions with our main character more and just made him more of like his own person, because I could have found myself liking this movie so much more if they had just done some minor things with the setup. Alas, they made it far too obtuse for no reason.
You finally understand what every Ghibli movie is like for me. This is my typical experience.
Bro's gonna hate Princess Mononoke.
Anyway, I guess we're picking movies now.
I believe so, Tanner. I believe so.
Dude, I'll go first then. Boys, as usual, I'm gonna have you guess the themes to see how we can work together to do a franchise pick. To give the audience a little behind the scenes, I told these guys if they all get the theme correctly, and it was an easy one, so whatever. They could, if they all unanimously agreed to a film, I would just choose that one. And, well, I guess I don't have to tell them what it is yet, but I did successfully ask Dylan what he thought the theme was earlier. So let me hear you guys in unison. What was the theme?
Hold on, just before we do that, are you gonna get us on semantics or some shit?
No. You asking that question has me worried, though.
All right, Tanner, count down from 3 for us here.
3, 2, 1.
Killing game.
Okay, this is, in a shocking turn of events, even I did not see coming. No one got the theme right.
What?
Dylan said it was Battle Royale. The theme was Fortnite.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up, you
piece of
dumb
shit.
motherfucker.
One of you literally said that when I announced Battle Royale.
That's not a theme.
Fortnite's a fucking game about like killing zombies and base defense shit. Fortnite Battle Royale is the fucking Battle Royale.
No, come on, dude. You can't. That's not.
That's why I'm fucking saying like getting me on semantics. I thought you were gonna say like it's this isn't a Battle Royale. This is a tournament.
It's like if you pick 2 Fast and the Furious films in a row, and we were like, yeah, the theme is cars, and you say, actually, the theme was Pixar's Cars.
What? No, that's not analogous to this at all.
That is 100% this exact situation.
The thing
No
too is
way.
like there are so many fucking Battle Royale games. I know you picked the biggest one, but that's such a fucking stupid way of doing it. Fuck you.
I'm sorry, guys, you said Fortnite, it was actually PUBG.
I was considering doing that, assuming you guys were all gonna get it, but never
Why
mind,
would
I guess.
Why would you ever think we would think their theme is some unrelated game when these two things have in common that they're both Battle
Unrelated?
Royales?
Fortnite is a Battle Royale.
What?
It was directly
I think-
inspired by these two things.
I think it's inspired by the previous Battle Royale games that came before it. It's not the fucking progenitor of this genre.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm at fault here.
Yeah.
I definitely think you are.
You know, I'm also gonna start doing, reviewing Tanner's themes as well. Tanner, this is a bad theme.
You don't think listen, I think you're just a little mad you guys didn't get it. I think in a vacuum it's very
I feel like we
funny.
got cheated out, dude. I think if you're doing a great gotcha, which I assume was it sounds like you weren't trying to do a gotcha, but I just cannot
No.
fathom how you would ever think we'd guess fucking Fortnite. That's insane.
I'm sorry, guys, the theme was not fantasy adventure, it was actually Skyrim.
You fools!
I
I
don't know
picked
what to tell you
I
guys.
picked 2 high fantasy movies. My dumbasses. My theme was actually Lord of the Rings, dipshit.
I don't think we're gonna see eye to eye on this one, to be honest.
We clearly are not.
What the fuck do I want
You
to
should pick
pick?
Kill
then?
Bill.
You should pick Kill Bill Volume 1.
No, I don't think I will. That won't be any fun. Let's fucking go ahead and I got 2 in mind. You know what? It's been so long. Let's go ahead and do Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
There we go, that'll be a fun time.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect to ever watch a Harry Potter movie again.
Tanner's gonna get us through all of them somehow.
Somehow, some way.
I know I've certainly tapped out my interest in this genre at this
True.
point.
Well, I'm glad I specifically screenshotted what Dylan said to me. Let's
So you
see.
can share it with us and be like,
said-
this dumbass, I can't believe it. He didn't get Fortnite. Check it out, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to do. He said, I think it would be kind of dumb of me not to guess Battle Royale.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree.
Anyway,
Please write in the
what's-
comments,
what-
commenters, if you also disagree.
No, defend me, commenters. You guys love Fortnite, right?
Chug Jug.
Anyway, what are you choosing,
So,
Nico?
my film this week, I'm going to be going with I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Huh, what year is that?
Dude, fuck you, I don't know. I think it's a more recent film.
If you're thinking, what are you thinking? What if you're thinking of the 1982 film that this one's a remake
Oh,
of?
god damn it,
dumbass?
is there actually another one?
No, there is no remake.
Okay.
This is just a film.
It's a Netflix film.
I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to make you think in fucking. I can't think of the phrase. God damn
In
it.
4 dimensions.
That's what my brain went to as well, but that's not the phrase.
I'm trying to make you think with portals.
Yeah, portals. That's what it is.
And that
Anyways,
Harry Potter one is 2007, in case you wanted to say that.
yeah, just in case there's another 5th Harry Potter movie with the same name that came out at a different year for some reason. Anyways, the Patreon pick this week. We rolled that sucker. We got her done. It is Blake's pick. Thank you, Blake, for the request. The 1988 film Midnight Run.
Wow. I don't know nothing about that movie.
Same. It's a Blake pick, though, so I've got an idea.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if you too would like to request a film just like Blake did, then Tanner's gonna tell you about how to do that.
That's right, everyone. Head on over to guapish.com/Patreon or patreon.com/Guapish, and for only $1 a month, you can request a movie just like Blake did, or, well, not or, but also you get early access to every episode, as well as exclusive access to our pre-Guap show. You get access to the Discord, where you get 500 slime coins, and you can submit your own topics, and finally, you get your name read out at the end of every episode, just like I'm doing right now. Thank you very much to GH, Slay by J, Blake, Netagant, I Love Lesbians, Top Ramen Man, Inflated Labia, Tutbot, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or ringing that bell, and we'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.